And what's up, everybody? I am back with another video. My voice is finally better after catching the vid. I know that sucked, but well, actually, it's still going on. But my voice is good enough that I think I am coherent enough to do another video. And I actually got another tier list going at you today. We're gonna close this tab. This is I'm having to do it on this crappy format. This is a tier list of all the pops we drank when we went to visit Rocket Fizz over the times. I had to do it on this stupid format because of the fact that all the tier lists that I could find for Rocket Fizz pops had like 10 of them on there. And we, over the course of 3 times that we did videos about Rocket Fizz pops, in January 2022, February of 2022, and May of 2022, which got uploaded in June of 2022, we tried 23 different flavors of Rocket Fizz pop. And if you didn't see those videos, go check them out. We did vlog going into Rocket Fizz one time in the first one. But basically what they are, they're like a candy shop, but they're like a really funky pop flavor shop too. That's what they're actually most known for other than their candies. They have some other stuff in there too. But it's mainly the pop and the candy. That's mainly what it's all about. They got tons of flavors. Like these up here, all these, right? This is not even close to all the flavors that they actually have there. It's insane how many flavors they've got. But we tried to pick out when we went there. Well, we went there 3 times, and every time we tried to pick some of the more funky ones to see what kind of cool reactions we could get out of ourselves. We picked some like generic good kinds on here, and there were some good surprises on here as well. So the rankings are going to be, up and down as there always are. But if you've tried other flavors from Rocket Fizz, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these, on some of the other ones. And even if you tried these, I'll like to hear your thoughts on them. So we'll start. I have them sort of in chronological order. First 4 are from the first video, the next 7 are from the next video, then the final 12 are from the last one. And I'm going to put a disclaimer right there right now. We have, none of us in Pringleton and Company, including me, have any itch, any desire to go back to Rocket Fizz and get more flavors. In fact, I have not stepped foot in Rocket Fizz since March. And I might go back in there at some point to maybe get some gifts or maybe grab some candy or whatever. But as far as going back, grabbing a bunch of these pops and doing them again for a video, like we have no absolute, and not even if it's not for a video, we have absolutely no want to go back there. So unless the demand gets super high all of a sudden, or maybe we strike a deal like a endorsement deal or something like that, there's no way we are going back there. So that's why I thought it was okay now to do this, because it's pretty much retired. It was a good idea while it lasted, but it was time for it to be done. So, well, let's begin. So we got, first up is Dirt, the Dirt Pop. This one kind of tastes like a bad root beer in my opinion. I have grown to kind of like root beer. I used to really hate it when I was younger. But this one's just kind of mid in general. Dirt's kind of mid. So it's a pretty easy C tier ranking. If you're a root beer fan, you're probably going to put it in the same tier as I am, because it's a bad version of root beer. It's supposed to be. It's dirt. What do you expect? And then next up is Lemonade. Lemonade tasted exactly like Mountain Dew Spark, which is one of my favorite Mountain Dew flavors. So it's definitely going in the S tier. It's a little bit like less carbonated. It was a little bit less carbonation to it. A little bit flatter, but it had the same amount of sweetness. It has the same color, obviously. Completely different theme. But it tastes pretty good. As Noah famously said, I like communism. That kind of thing. And then sticking with the world leaders, or the post or previous or current or past world leaders, there's 4 of them on this list. This is number 2, the Kim Jong-un one. This one tasted pretty bad. It tastes like the fountain at the mall. I mean, you can read our reviews of them on the videos too, like our live reactions. But I mean, it's pretty much tastes like the fountain at the mall. Like it smells like it's a heavy inducent of chlorine, and it looks It does not look like that when you buy it. It looks more like a purplish color. But in camera, probably obviously with photos too, and with video, it shows up like that muddy watercolor. It looks disgusting. But I swear it looks more like purpley. And then next up is the bacon one. And this did not taste like bacon at all. In fact, it really tasted like maple syrup. And take what you want out of maple syrup, but maple syrup alone is not that great. It's very sweet. You can feel the stickiness, even though it's not actually maple syrup. You can feel it in your throat, and you can feel it in your mouth. It has one of the most pungent tastes. That doesn't mean it's a good one. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good one. But you know what? It's not one of the worst ones either. I mean, well, it's not the worst. It's down there. I mean, if you're a fan of chugging maple syrup straight out of the bottle, this is going to be the one for you, because that's what it is. It's carbonated maple syrup. Next up is strawberries and cream. This is the start of the second round. I'm going to put this one in the A tier. I liked it. I just didn't like it enough. It didn't have it felt kind of watered down as a flavor. It didn't really strike me as like S tier worthy, but it was definitely really good. Sweet, it's supposed to be. So we enjoyed that one, and so that's why it's going to go in the A tier. Then the grass one. This is definitely an F tier. This is one of the worst ones on this list. It's the only one in the second video that made me gag, or made me release it prior to the big throwing up part. But it tastes exactly like grass smells after being cut. And I like this as a smell, not as a taste. No, not as a taste. Especially when you've cut grass and get gasoline all in your yard. You don't want to be tasting that. But sorry guys. But no, it was absolutely pungent and horrible. Really, really bad. Then sweet corn. If we were going by smell, sweet corn would probably be would probably be one of the ones to talk about. You can smell this thing from a mile away. As far as its taste, it smelled like cornbread, and it tasted like cornbread too. Honestly, it's not as bad. I'll probably put in the D tier. D tier is probably a good place for it. It's like the bacon one. Cornbread's closer to sweet corn than maple syrup is to bacon. So you got that. At least you got that. But this thing was super hard to drink because it gets into your throat and you want to be chewing this thing. You want to be eating it because it feels like on your body, it feels like in your mouth, and it's like a baked good. You want to eat it, but you have to tell yourself, no, it's a liquid. Just swallow it. If you're into that kind of thing, though, this might be the one for you. If you're a big cornbread fan, maybe you'll like this one. But I like cornbread, just like I like bacon, maple syrup, and stuff like that. But this is not the one for me. Quite frankly, I don't know if any of these would be for you. This is Rocket Fizz. They're not supposed to be for you. They're supposed to be for people in like Alcatraz, something like that. Then we got this one, the Bin Laden. This is I should call it Bin Laden Pop. It's called I don't remember what it's called. See You Later is what the name of it actually is. And this one's actually pretty good. It's Dr. Pepper, a lot like Dr. Pepper. So if you're like Dr. Pepper, you're probably gonna like this one. So I am gonna put it in the A tier. It's not as S tier worthy, not on the same level as Lemonade, but it is really, really good. So surprisingly, I know people are probably saying, "Oh, why didn't you put it down in the F tier? Because it made you barf." Just because it made me barf doesn't mean I actually didn't like it. The reason it made me barf because I had 3 others straight before that, and then chugged a 4th one. That's why I threw up, not because it was bad. No, I spit the grass one out because it was bad. And we'll get to a few others that fit in that category too. Ranch dressing. This one is weird. This one is just weird. It does not taste like ranch at all. Quite frankly, if there's any on here that are accurate, there is none. The only one that's accurate on taste on this list is the grass one. That's the only one. So far that we have done so far. Ranch was one of the farthest off. It was crazy, but alas, it's definitely not as It's not as bad as grass. I will say that. There's some more that will fit into that category as time comes, but not there. Then we got butter. This one's on the same level as ranch, in my opinion, for the same reason. I don't know how they're really supposed to make butter taste good in a pop, but it's supposed to be straight butter, but get it, but yeah, same reasoning on that part. I think key lime pie. This one was pretty good too. I'm gonna put in the A tier. It might fit in the S if I just tried it like just by itself, but because I had all those others before it, probably affected my taste buds. Jesus Christ. Take a drink of water here. The vid is getting to me, guys, because I decided to do a video. All right, now we're on to the third session, the Martian soda, as it's called. There's also like Martian poop. There's quite a few Martian ones, or like space, future, radioactive themed ones there. This is the one we picked out. Quite frankly, this one was pretty mid. I don't remember a whole lot from it. And that's probably for the best. And that's why I'm going to put it in the C tier. Might be way too high of a ranking, honestly. But, oh no, this one was the one that tasted like plums. That's still a good place for it. That's the one that tastes like plums. It's weird. Why would you have Martian soda taste like plum? Okay, here's another F1. Coffee. All the ones that made me gag, other than the mustard and, all the ones that made me spit them back up, other than the mustard and, Bin Laden ones, are going in F. So, and coffee is absolutely horrid. I don't know how coffee actually tastes. I've never had coffee, and I never wish to. And, that pop only, this guy right here only made me confirm that. Do not want to try that ever. So, and then the birthday cake one. This one does taste a lot like Mountain Dew Cake Smash, but a lot. Again, the flavor isn't as there. It's also not as carbonated for some reason. But it was not as good. This one's probably actually going to go in the B tier. This one underwhelmed me a little bit. This one's going to go in the B tier. I did have some expectations of it being like Cake Smash, because you know it is. It's birthday cake flavored pop, and that's what Mountain Dew cake. You take the citrus out of Mountain Dew Cake Smash, you've got the birthday cake pop. So maybe that's why it wasn't as sweet. But definitely one that I actually would drink. Any from like B tier up, I would actually drink on the regular, which is saying a lot when there's already 4 of them there. Cucumber, straight in the F tier. Pickle's gonna join it. Same reasoning for both. These are both awful. The cucumber one had spice to it. What? That makes no sense. Cucumbers are not meant to have spice to them. That is absolutely awful. Why would you have cucumber have spice to it? That makes absolutely no sense. And pickle tastes straight like vinegar. Like, I know that's probably how you make a pickle. I don't know how you actually make a pickle because fuck pickles. But, so maybe you at least got the taste accurate. Doesn't mean it's good. Okay? Ask the sweet corn and the maple syrup one. They do not taste good, even though they're accurate. Well, they're both actually pretty inaccurate, but you get my point. And they both made me gag and spit them back up for extra measure. Mustard is going in the C tier. It should have made me gag had I not had the cucumber, pickle, and coffee ones beforehand. It did end up making me throw up the entire color spectrum a little while after I tried it for the first time. That was awful. That was awful when I threw that up. It literally was the whole like color spectrum coming out of me. It was a surreal experience, and it hurt like hell. But no, that's the only reason why it doesn't go in the F tier. It was pretty awful. I'm not a huge mustard fan as to begin with, but I have tried a lot of mustard, and this wasn't close. I mean, it was closer than like ranch or butter, but it wasn't even that close. So, and then barf. Now this, I hate to say it, this is the one I expected to taste the worst of all the ones we had ever tried, and it ended up being on the better side. That's what the sad part about this is. That's why it's going in the B tier. Okay, maybe I wouldn't drink this one on the regular, but if I had the choice between it and like sweet corn, I would choose this all day. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it in the C tier. It had a weird texture, but it tasted good, and that's not good at all. So that's why it's going down there. Then we got Black Olive. This one was kind of underwhelming in my opinion. It's gonna go in the D tier. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. I mean, it was like the Martian one. It was pretty unforgettable in my opinion, or not pretty unforgettable, but pretty forgettable. So that's why I'm putting it down in the D tier. Because it was not, I mean, at least the Martian one had some good qualities to it, but the Black Olive one, yeah, no, it did not. Then Peanut Butter and Jelly. This one was another one that was super off. I expect this one to actually taste pretty good. It did not. It was at least edible, and so that's why I'm putting it in the D tier. But yeah, how Brian ever chugged this, I don't know. Because I probably could have, but I didn't want to, so that's why I made him do it. But pretty reasonable to put it in the D tier. Then we got Stalinade. This one was pretty bland. I'm going to put it in the B tier. Again, the carbonation on it was just... I keep comparing these Mountain Dew flavors, but it was kind of like Code Red, but like a lot less carbonation and pretty not as sweet either. It's like the birthday cake one, but if it was Code Red and the red one instead. And I don't get that. Me, it's just because, Mountain Dew has got so many different flavor variations, but it just did not make sense to me. I don't know. It was another one that kind of disappointed me. I guess I didn't say it didn't disappoint me because I had no expectations coming in, but there you go. Then Buffalo Wing. This one was awful. I don't know. Noah said this one tasted just like watered down orange soda. I don't believe him when he says it tasted like watered down orange soda. It definitely tasted watered down, but it had heat to it, and it tasted absolutely god awful. So thankfully, did not make me barf though. So I'm gonna put it in the E tier for that reason. And then finally, pumpkin pie. This one was also pretty bad. It was the only one of the pie variations that I think I was not really looking forward to. If we're gonna, because it's like, I mean, there's plenty of those that we didn't get. The blueberry, lemon. That's the only two I can think of. But I think there's even a chocolate pie. There's plenty of those that we didn't even get to try. For this one though, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. It was pretty bad in my opinion. I'm gonna put it in the E tier. From the other ones like strawberry cream, key lime, birthday cake. I drank those again. Lovely. Pumpkin pie though, I didn't really enjoy it, which kind of sucked. Maybe I came with a little too high expectations because of the other ones. That could have very well been it. But there's your tier list, folks. Final rankings: we got 1 in the S tier, 3 in the A tier, 2 in the B tier, 3 in the C tier, 4 in D tier, 6 in the E tier, and 4 in the F tier. And that, my friends, should end the Pringle Sun Rocket Fizz legacy as we know it. I know there are some that were on my list that we didn't get to try, like cookies and cream. Enchilada was a big one that I wanted to try that we never got around to. That's all I can... And then, of course, all the pie ones I already mentioned that we were going to try and get a shot. There was a Chum Lee one, too. We had that one on our list. Jackson's actually going to get that one instead of the Stalinade one, but then he heard about the Stalinade one, so he got that one instead. Of course, the other Martian ones, and then there was like a few other weird ones, and then there were some that weren't as weird, that they still had like ones like generic pop that you might want to get for like a party or whatever. We might have tried those if we wanted to, but quite honestly, after the third one and the hassle it took to get them all and to do it, we just kind of stopped, and we don't really need to continue. No real reason to continue, but if you wanted to continue, then rack that view count up, drop some comments, drop some likes, get them viral, and then we can reconsider if need be. But for now, it's going to be retired and put in the ground. And I think that's for the best, because I'm a retired chugger thanks to the mustard one. So that's going to do it for this video, though, this tier list. What do you think of my rankings of these? If you've had others that we haven't tried, where would you put them on this tier list? What did you think of them? What did you think of the ones that are on here? I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments section down below. If you tried any other funky pop flavors that didn't come from Rocket Fizz, I'd love to hear your thoughts about those. And stay tuned for much more amazing content, more tier lists and other awesome stuff. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.